my teenage years, like, you know, 18, 19 years old, like, you know, I was going through some tough times in my life, and I was like, all right, you know, basically stop being a pussy. You know what I mean? Just fucking just do something about everything, you know? So after, like, I was an overweight kid too, so I started, like, losing weight, a lot of weight. People started noticing changes. I was just addicted to it. Then I was just a maniac after that. I was like, all right, I'm never stopping this shit.
That was this week's guest, Steve Johnson, talking about how finding the gym, lifting weights, made a huge impact on his life, how he went from being a fat kid to a strong guy. Along with him, Lauren Quinn, newly minted women's physique IFBB pro. Lauren Quinn. I had a great conversation with him. His journey from, like I said, fat kid to strong dude. He's I think his best numbers at the moment: 804 squat, 501 bench, 843 deadlift, and about how they came together as a couple. It was a great conversation. We had fun talking to them. Like and share this video, and we'll be back next week with Gunnar, Peterson, and Ben Bruno. Support for this episode of the PowerCast comes from Movement Watches. Go to mbmt.com/PowerCast for 15% off your entire order, plus free shipping. Ape Man apparel for people who lift heavy weights at apemanstrong.com. Compex muscle stim products at compexusa.com. Use the code PowerCast and get an additional 28% discount. HowMuchYouBench.net, home of Mark Bell's Slingshot. Use the code PowerCast and get 15% off slingshots and free shipping on orders of $100 or more. And bodybuilding.com. Bodybuilding.com is the world's largest fitness website and supplement store. Bodybuilding.com has free plans for every level. Visit bodybuilding.com today to become your best self.
Recorded live in West Sacramento, California, this is Mark Bell's PowerCast. Standing just to the left of Jim McDonald, here's your host, Mark Bell.
A whole pile.
Good morning for Ben this morning. Pretty good. I'm always leaving, like, the poo swirls in the toilet.
He doesn't leave a streak in the toilet. He leaves a swirl.
Yeah,
it's like a burst.
There's some science behind that, isn't there? Have you heard anything about any of that?
I have not.
About like if your poop like sinks or floats.
Oh, yeah, there is some
yeah.
science about
Streaks
that.
like the
yeah.
toilet, like it's like I don't know if it's supposed to sink or swim. I don't really know.
I don't know.
I forget what the results are, but it has something to do with like hydration and like the amount of fiber or something like that.
Mine are so mushy.
Fat in your stool.
I don't even like. I don't poo logs. I poo like piles of poo, like everywhere. So.
Oh, like a dog in the front lawn. Like
with diarrhea or something.
a big old pile so big that it like comes out of the toilet a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a glacier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a two-flusher.
I've taken some before where I've been really like surprised and shocked. I'm like, holy shit.
Literally. Holy shit.
You're just like, what the hell?
Poop facts on there.
There we go, getting some poop facts here from Jim
Interesting
McDonald.
facts about poop.
There's a lot of interesting information.
What's really in
about
it? Color matters. Shape matters too.
Yeah.
My poop schedule has been like thrown off, and that's the worst. When your poop schedule's all mixed up. I definitely like to poop before I get to the gym.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to.
And then a lot of times I'm late because I'm shitting.
Right there. Sorry,
Poop
it should sink.
There you go.
It should
poop
sink.
should
Oh
sink.
shit, mine don't.
Mine usually sinks.
No, mine's a floating pile of sea shit.
Floating.
I don't think I've
Fat
ever seen
content.
shit that sank. To be honest, like,
I think this is a scam. Why would your shit sink? Does it mean it has like lead or mercury or some sort of poison in it or something?
Some precious metals in it.
well, I think it's that it floats because it has too much fat in it. Can be a sign of malabsorption, a condition in which you can't absorb enough fat and other nutrients. Well, clearly that's not a problem. From your food, and you're associated with celiac disease or chronic pancreatitis.
Oh, maybe I'm fucked up then.
You're dying.
I mean, and then what's floating? Is it like? I mean, is it like Jesus walking on the water, or is it like a submarine, or is just like barely peeking
we
up?
Have
a little conning tower.
We
haven't actually had a good poop talk in a while.
In here.
Well, I think
the
Forsaken Warrior over here has a poop story. You might as well just kick it off with that.
It's not really like on the funny tone though, because I almost died, basically.
Death can be funny.
Nothing like raising the stakes.
It gets pretty disgusting, but I'll tell it anyways. But there's so I don't know. I had this problem that started when I was like in, I don't know, maybe like 4th or 3rd grade, and the school that I went to didn't have doors on the stall, so I didn't want to take a shit in school. So
Sounds
I
like
just
a prison.
Yeah, it kind of was.
I remember that.
So I was scared, take a crap or whatever. So I used to hold it all the time. And then it got so bad at one point that I held the poo and I became backed up that when I wanted to go to the bathroom, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where like I would like shit, but it'd be like uncontrollably. Like I wouldn't be able to like, hold it in when I wanted to. So yeah, I shit my pants every once in a while as a kid. So I was that stinky kid in class,
you were like
pooing my pants.
Like 8 years old or something, maybe.
It stopped. I think it probably stopped when I was like, that was about 8 years old. It stopped when I was about 10. It went on for a long time.
Oh, wow.
And then finally one day I was taking a shower and I almost passed out and I didn't know what was going on. And then all of a sudden I woke up and there's a giant pile of poo in the shower with me. But I managed to like scream out my dad, like to call for my dad.
Somebody took a shit in here, Dad. Fucking disgusting.
Well, he comes running in, he rips open the shower curtain and he's like, oh my God, what the fuck?
Like passed out?
Yeah, I was passed out, and I was like, go see White, he said. And he just dragged me out of the shower and then took me to the hospital and stuff. And they said
You're lucky you didn't run out the front door and throw a match behind you.
Yeah. But basically, he took me to the hospital, and there was like, I had some like, I was backed up, I was sick, like some kind of infection and stuff. So they were giving me antibiotics and everything, and then I told myself after that, I'm never holding shit in my life, which I don't
like. Take you out of the house and lock you up in a shed or something. You're like, honey, he shit his pants again.
There was many of those. Like, I was scared because I would like, I would have like streaks in my underwear all the time, so I would hide them and shit.
Still
my mom would kick my ass when she would find like shitty underwear. She would keep buying me underwear. So,
man, my first question was going to be why so forsaken, but now I think I know.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Also, too, why white underwear? Like, why was that ever made for men? It just doesn't work
terrible.
out.
Tidy whiteys, I don't understand.
Tidy brownies.
Yeah.
I don't wear white underwear anymore, that's for sure. Just in case,
Yeah, all those heavy squats.
Yeah, I know. Or deadlifts, yeah.
Best squats, what, an 805 squat in competition or something, right?
804.5, yeah.
804.5 squat.
We'll round it up to
You're going to blow something out.
Yeah, something.
Occasionally.
There was one time I squatted and I shit myself a little bit, but...
Get through the workout?
Yeah, it was the last set, so I just racked the bar casually. I think you were there. I just racked the bar casually and just walked off like nothing was and just wiping the shit off my ass.
Like you just got off the horse.
Yeah. You don't want to smear it around.
How'd you guys meet?
We met at the gym where I used to work. I was a trainer. I was working there for about 8 months before I had seen him or anyone like him.
This gym has no name.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I don't work there anymore. But, I noticed, his size, his strength, the beard. The beard definitely got me. And just the fact that the gym I worked at was for, like, recreational lifters and, like, gym bros. And, you had a few athletes or competitors, like bodybuilders in there, but nobody on his level.
A few skinny guys, maybe?
Yeah. And just other guys
Mostly.
who... I've been in and out of gyms for years and years. I feel like I've seen a lot, and I know who the phonies are and who, like, the real athletes are. And that's what I knew when I saw Steve. I was like, wow, this guy's the real deal. Why is he at this gym?
Right.
That's even one of the first things I asked him.
He's at that gym to impregnate you.
Yeah. I was there stalking her. I knew who she was.
That's one of the first things I asked him is, I go, well, where do you train? He's like, what do you mean? Like, surely you don't train at a gym like this exclusively. You can't, especially with those, like, hexagonal or whatever shaped plates.
The plates,
You can't deadlift with that.
Those, yeah.
It's
For a
just
long
not the
time.
right facility. It's not the right atmosphere and everything.
So you just talked him up right away. Like, you're too pretty to be in
much.
here. You're too jacked. You're too strong. Let me take you out of this place.
Yeah. God
Come
damn,
with
you're
me if
handsome.
you want
Yeah.
to live.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys met in the gym?
Yeah, I met in the gym. I was working on afternoon shifts, like 3 to 11s. So after work, I would go in normally around midnight and work out, and like nobody was there. So the gym in that area where I lived, where we both lived, just opened up. So 24-hour gym. And I had never seen any of the staff there before because nobody was there.
Yeah, they're so late.
Yeah, so I just decided, like, you know, fuck this. It's too late to be working out till 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, and I wasn't waking up till, like, late in the afternoon just to go back to work. So I decided to start working out in the morning instead. And one of the first days I was there, I saw her just come stomping through with these legs and shit. And I was like, fuck is this girl? Like, I've never seen a girl like this other than on, like, a bodybuilding stage. I didn't know anyone existed like that in my area, you know. So I began stalking
or
her
your
daily.
league.
Yeah. So I began, like, stalking her daily, basically. We would never talk, but we would always just kind of like
eye each other.
And, like, you know, kind of creepily, I guess, you know. But she'd be training some clients and stuff. And, you know, I was like, oh, let me take my headphones off when she was, like, around. I was like, I want to see if this girl, what she sounds like. Is she foreign? Or she sounds dumb or something, you know?
Or to have a high
We had a lot of
voice.
Polish people that lived by us. So I was like, I want to know if she was Polish right away. Because that would have, you know, I would have just ruined it all. But, yeah, we started.
Poland just tuned out, just so everyone knows.
That's a big fan base.
Did you try to, like, look up her Instagram, and that way you don't have to actually talk to her? You could just slid into the DM.
But no, I didn't do that. I was working out with a buddy.
Your friend.
Yeah, one of my
probably
buddies
what I
knew
would do.
her. One of my buddies knew who she was through his girlfriend. So I was like, I guess I was staring at her, and he goes, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're staring at that girl, all fucking crazy." You know, I was like, "Oh shit, I had no idea." He's like, "I'm like, who is she?"
Like, whoops.
He's like, "I know her. I know her name." I was like, "What's her name?" He told me. So Lauren Quinn. So right away, I was like Googling and Instagramming everything. You know,
Yeah.
I knew a lot
Doing your
about her
research.
before we even talked. And then when she was
That's
around,
pretty
one day,
pervy.
it was, yeah. And then
Last night was weird, too.
Why?
Should I tell them about last night?
What did we
The
do
hot
last
tub?
night? Go ahead.
It got a little weird. Don't you think it got a little weird, Lauren, or no?
Well, when the lights all went out, I did.
See, that got weird. Forsaken Warriors outside the hot tub, and me and Lauren were inside the hot tub. And just as I thought it was actually really weird, I noticed like a little red light going off in his beard. He had a camera.
I was recording, yeah.
recording it. Then I was like, oh, that's not that weird.
Yeah. I had a remote camera recording Pornhub.
He was really excited, though, outside the hot tub, just watching us frolicking in the
My
hot
girlfriend's
tub.
in a hot tub
Frolicking
with
in the
Mark
hot
Bell.
tub,
Goals.
Really?
I was Instagram story on it. Like,
Yeah, one hand on your phone and one hand somewhere else.
Oh, God.
exactly. It was dark. I had dark pants on. No one could see, so it was okay.
I could see. Something was growing down there.
That's infrared lights you got on in that thing or whatever.
So you just went up to her and started talking to her, or what happened?
No,
after
I
that?
didn't go up to her. I was afraid to talk to her.
I went up to him, but I actually wasn't, so this is kind of funny. I wasn't interested in Steve for myself. I actually had a boyfriend at the time.
And you're interested in Steve for your boyfriend?
Hey, now.
Possibly.
No, yeah. No, for my sister. My sister, athletic, tall, single, attractive, etc. And I I was like,
nope.
I wonder what this
Hearing all this, taking notes over there, Dano.
I wonder what this, wonder what his story is, like maybe, maybe I could hook them up. And, I just started talking to him because I was just curious, like, who he was and why he was there, basically. That's all.
Yeah, she, I was afraid to say anything to her because I was like, what do you say to a girl like this? I'm like, hey, do you compete? Like, I didn't want to be that guy.
Do you work out?
Do something? Yeah, do you work out? So I didn't know what to say, so I just didn't say shit. So
Nice weather we've been having.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You think the Cubs are going to make it this year?
Yeah. So I was squatting, and then I was playing football at the time, so I was like in my season, and I was actually about to leave to San Diego to play, and then I was talking to one of my buddies that knew me from the gym, and I took my headphones off to talk to him, and I knew she was like right near me doing like lat pull downs, so I was like, all right, I was like, when I'm talking to my friend, I was like, I'm not gonna, I'm not really paying attention to what he's saying, but I know she's behind me.
Are
so
you
I'm
single
like,
people paying attention? The lat pull down is the secret right there.
yeah. Well, I didn't put my headphones back on, and he just walked away. He's like, all right, see you later. And then I heard her go, hey, I have a question. I just had this dumb smile on my face. I turned around like, yeah, what's up? Like, oh, cool.
I wasn't gonna bother him because I didn't know what it's like to be interrupted in the gym, and you lose your pump, or you're maybe timing your rest intervals.
Or she thought I would like yell at her or something.
Yeah, and I was
she
like,
bothering me.
this guy.
That would've really
this guy
got
was
her
just
excited,
talking
I
to
think.
him.
Maybe
You're ruining my pump.
I should have turned
This
around.
guy's definitely for
Yeah,
me.
he's
Should have
definitely.
turned around like, what the fuck do you want? I'm working out. Right?
Holy shit! Oh my god. Yeah, but I was like, all right, now's my chance to like ask him more questions, and it was funny because he was doing like a distribution for Slingshot gear at the time.
Oh, yeah, at the time. I don't think I told you about that. I was doing you had the
You were selling
vendor
at one of the
program.
gyms
Yeah,
or
the vendor
something, right?
program.
Yeah, yeah. So I had like a bunch of stock of slingshot stuff that I was selling at different gyms,
And we get
along
to-
with some of my gear. You know, so
We sold that in steroids right out of that gym. It was great. It was awesome. It was a
made out
good
pretty
business
good.
for a little while.
Yeah, it had a good
Those
run.
damn cops.
we get to talking, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to be, setting up at a local CrossFit gym." Oh, which one? Turned out it was the one that I and my siblings all went to.
Oh, cool.
And that's when I was like, "Oh, this is my brother. This is my sister. You got to meet them." And
He's
just
probably like, I don't want to meet them. I just want you naked.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much the thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're terrible as men. It's pretty bad.
Just picturing her naked while she's talking to me.
Yeah,
That's it.
she's blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah,
and just
blah,
staring down.
blah.
Charlie
I have no
Brown
Doing that
adult.
now.
Wah,
I'm
wah,
sorry,
wah,
but I
wah.
have no idea what you just said.
Yeah. I don't have to look at you here. I can see you right there. So,
Look at those biceps and triceps and shoulders. Damn.
oh my,
yeah, she's almost show ready.
Getting close. You have a competition coming up?
3 of them.
Oh, man.
All different
Bodybuilding?
levels. Women's physique.
Okay.
Kind of like the new bodybuilding,
Right.
as you are familiar.
Do they still have women's bodybuilding? They don't really still have.
They do,
Traditional? It's
but
kinda
I think
dying out a
it's
little bit, it
yeah.
seems like.
I think it's not going to be like at every show you go to. I think they have to search.
They still
far
have it
and
at the
wide.
Olympia?
I think
think so.
Yeah, I think there is.
I think that for a while I heard they were talking about not having it anymore just because it wasn't. The girls were like 220 pounds and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
were getting pretty damn big.
They have some of those women cutting down to do women's physique now. So the women's
Yeah,
physique
makes sense.
competitors look a little bit larger now, it
Yeah.
seems like.
What's women's physique
So
compared to bodybuilding?
the lines are. I think they're so blurry. I see figure competitors who look like physique competitors. They have striated glutes.
Right.
10 years ago, figure competitors did not have that kind of
Right.
leanness
Yeah,
or
you have
hardness.
striations in your shoulders and stuff.
Yeah, it's such a subjective sport that I'm just trying to be the best version of myself. So women's physique, they want you to be really cut, to have, round, full muscles, symmetry. They say they want that for every
You
division.
have the
though.
round part. We got a lot of that.
Yeah, I got a lot.
We got a lot of the round stuff handled pretty well here at Super Training.
The posing is different from
Round and full.
bodybuilding. They don't have lat posing in the mandatories, but you could throw it into your freestyle. Also, like biceps are open hand and not a closed fist. I guess it's more pretty.
Maybe more like feminine or something. Is that-
Yeah.
Well, you don't get as much peak that way. I mean, that's for sure. I mean,
Yeah, maybe they don't want to see you maybe flexing as hard. Is that part of it? Maybe
They're
they
supposed to look maybe a little bit
No,
more graceful
I don't
maybe
know.
or something.
like, do you actually like flex or do you more like pose?
Oh no, you flex. You get up there, you flex. So it's biceps, tricep, chest, abs. And back poses are the same. There's no most muscular pose.
You gonna get him involved? Get him doing some bodybuilding?
No.
Get him a little pair of trunks?
I tried for like 2
I
weeks.
can't have
gave up.
another diva in the house. No, the dieting and let's be honest, like a little bit of the vanity
Right.
of it. No, that's
Yeah,
lame.
him checking
That's
himself out in the
lame.
mirror all the time, it would start to bug you.
I
You'd be
like
I
him-
need room for my
I
mirror
like
too.
him being
Yeah.
big, thick, and doing man shit.
Digging some ditches and stuff.
Yeah,
Not
start
wearing a
cutting
banana
down
hammock.
trees. No, I
No,
don't do that.
no.
way.
Marble
He's
bag.
too good at what he does.
Yeah.
The singlet's like my banana hammock. Makes it look pretty cool.
How'd you get involved in powerlifting, Steve?
Powerlifting, I was so I was just working out like a maniac in commercial gyms, and I just started. Actually, I heard about Stan. I was reading at work. Actually, I think it was a Muscle and Fitness magazine. It was on Stan Efferding, and I think it was when he just got that the world's
that
strongest.
guy.
Yeah, that guy, the world's strongest bodybuilder title, and then that's how I found out about you, and and saw some of the videos and stuff like that, and I was like, well, this seems pretty fucking cool,
Found
So
out about me through Stan? That's fucked up.
I did, yeah, I did, and so.
talk to him about that.
Very circular way of things happening.
Yeah. Instead of like some of the bodybuilding exercises and like just going like a maniac in the gym, I started concentrating more on like, squat, bench, deadlift, just watching YouTube videos and stuff, like trying to, look at technique and form and kind of what powerlifting was about. Cause I knew very little about it. There was a few guys in the gym that I worked out at that did it. And, they would try to help me out, and they were like masters, powerlifters and stuff. So, I just started doing that shit, getting stronger, and then basically I did like a small contest, but it wasn't like a sanctioned meet. It was just like come to our gym and lift as heavy as you can, and whoever the
Were
strongest dude is.
Because you've only been powerlifting for a few years now, right?
Yeah.
Were you much stronger than most of the people around you, like right away, or?
In the gym, I was definitely like one of the strongest guys in the gym. And then when I actually competed, I almost told 2,000 pounds like right off the bat. So
Did that mean anything to you, or you just didn't know?
No, I
like,
didn't know.
Just like
I was like
275, 242,
275. Yeah. So they were like telling me like, you know, the guys in the gym were like really pressing me to like do a meet. They're like, you're really strong. I was already deadlifting almost 800 pounds on a really shitty gym stiff bar with like hexagon plates.
No coaching at this point either. Never
no coaching.
Had a coach,
I mean,
never
the
had a
form,
trainer.
everything looked very terrible. You know, I was like straight leg deadlifting basically, and you know, just doing what I thought was right, just trying to be just a maniac, really. You know, and then I decided to do a meet. It was a RPS meet, and it was at Lily Bridge's gym actually. And I totaled like 1973. I think I pulled an 800 or 804 deadlift at that first meet.
Was that the meet that was like thrown in the garbage or whatever?
No, that one's on the books. The one that I did like my very first one.
The Lily Bridges had a meet at their gym that was like thrown away or something, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that one. No, okay. This was called the Holly Jolly Power Bash.
There you go.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, RPS sanctioned and stuff. So I was benching like low fours at the time, but I was like squatting like near 700. I think I squatted maybe 700 at that meet, and then I was already deadlifting.
Like some people that were kind of pushing you into it, urging you into it, and what were those people? I mean, like somebody's encouraging you to do, hey, you should do this, and then you're squatting like 200 more pounds than them. Were they like, holy fuck?
Yeah, they were kind of like, it was the guys at the gym, you know, they were just like kind of like, dude, you're really strong, you know what I mean? Like, I just felt like I was just a regular guy. I was just in there to lift, you know.
Some of those guys were already powerlifting.
Yeah, they were powerlifting. I didn't know like what their totals and stuff were, but a lot of them did like geared powerlifting and stuff like that.
You did notice that you were lifting more than a lot of people, though.
Right? Honestly, I didn't pay attention.
He's humble.
Yeah.
He didn't realize he was special.
Even when she saw me lifting, I was just like, okay, I'm
exceptional.
just doing my thing. You know what I mean? I was trying to be good for football at the time.
So you're in tune with like basically, you know, fighting against yourself and fighting against the weights. You're not really thinking about too much about what usually everybody else is doing.
When you see me in the gym, usually I'm not looking around, I'm not looking at anybody. I got my headphones on. You know, sometimes I'm hyping myself up, you know. Besides her doing it for me. Yeah. But, you know, I'm just, that's just how it's always been, just really focused on like the goal that I'm trying to get. And it's always been like when I first started lifting, like, and concentrating more on powerlifting, like when I hit like a 700 pound deadlift for the first time, I wanted 800 pounds right away. Same thing for like 5 to 6 and 7, you know, all the on and on. So, I struggled with a few lifts, but like I was saying, I read a Muscle and Fitness on Stan Efferding's deadlift, like what he was doing. And I was like, kind of like, oh, okay, maybe I should warm up like this to like a max and do something like that. I started researching more on YouTube and just started going crazy after that. And then ever since then, I followed Stan Efferding on everything, like trying to do what he was doing.
Fucking jacked.
Yeah, yeah. And then I always like saw his deadlift numbers, and I thought that was like, how the fuck can he do this? You know what I mean? Like, how does he do that shit?
It's always been a good question. That's why the picture out in the gym of him is him deadlifting.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and I was like, man, and like the way that he looked too, like his physique and like how strong he was, to me, that was like the ideal like look. You know what I mean? That's what I wanted to look like, which I'm way far off that. But, you know, that's like what I was like, oh, this is a powerlifter. That's what it's supposed to look like, you know? So just kind of followed that and then never stopped since. So
it's amazing how, you know, sometimes when people start when they're younger, or not even so much start when they're younger, but in the first 2 or 3 years of powerlifting, or seems like a lot of sports, but powerlifting in particular, is where you get like some of the best gains, you know. So it seemed like you moved quick, starting your first meet off, you know, in the 1900s. But you were also, I'm sure before that, you were just lifting heavy anyway.
Yeah, I was
benching and stuff too.
I was benching, squatting, but you know, I was having like some back and forth like knee like tightness, soreness, you know, and I was playing football too, so I had broken my foot like years prior to that, so I had like a nice bone callus every time I'd push on the ground. Like I could feel it on the ground too. So I stopped squatting for a little bit, like heavy. I would just do like high rep sets, and I was doing a lot of stuff for like hypertrophy training and stuff like that. I was just trying to like improve my physique, you know. I just happened to be strong on top of it, so I was just lifting like a maniac.
What kind of football were you playing?
So I played for it was a semi-pro team, but it's actually a national public safety league. So I was in law enforcement. Okay. So It was a law enforcement. We played against not just other police departments, but it was like fire departments and public safety. But it was all for charity stuff too. So we raised money. Our charity, we raised money for families of fallen officers, and like we'd raise so much throughout the season for like through fundraisers, selling tickets, all that stuff. So I didn't make any money doing it. I just did it just because I loved it.
Going from 1900 ish to what was your best total?
21:33.
And that was recently at the U.S. Open?
No, that's my second best total. That's 21:27, so really close to that.
And you won the weight class, right? And then you also won best overall lifter? Or just
no, at the U.S. Open, the overall lifter was like Yuri Belkin.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Because by formula, right?
Yeah. So, but I did win my weight class. It was 275. So
that must feel like an awesome accomplishment. There's some of the best lifters in the world are at that competition.
Yeah, it felt good to be like part of that, or to be like considered like one of the best lifters, currently. So I would say though the most glory was probably at Boss of Bosses 3. That's where I hit my biggest
total. You were
total.
unknown, and he came in and just...
Yeah, I wasn't invited to it. I just paid to be there.
So you were competing on not the pro day?
Yeah, I wasn't on a pro day. I was on with everybody else. Yeah, I just was like, all right, I'm going to go out here.
It was last year, right?
Yeah, last year in August.
Yeah.
And then you came up here and deadlifted 800.
Yeah, the next day.
The next day.
Try to do it for a double or whatever.
Yeah. Boss of Bosses, though, like I went in there like nobody, nobody knew who I was. Maybe a few people, like, because my Instagram following was still pretty small at that time. But everybody knew that I was like, I deadlifted over 800 pounds, so everybody at the meet, they wanted to see that. But, that was the first meet that I benched over 5, that I squatted 800, 804, so that was like, those were big like milestones in my training, and then the deadlift, like I just PR'd on like, I think like 6 pounds on it or something prior to like the Arnold's.
There's a lot of big deadlifts that weekend, I remember.
Yeah, there was more on the pro day though.
Yeah, a handful of guys over 8 on the pro day.
Yeah, because I remember Dan Green telling me he walked out of the bathroom because they heard them announcing me I was the last deadlifter. I was the last lifter. So they were like, he said he walked down. He was like, "Who's the fuck is deadlifting over 800 pounds on this day?" So
the quote unquote amateur day.
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't know. I still was like, "Oh, I don't know what any of this means." I won my weight class there, and then Dan told me to come to the banquet.
We weren't gonna go to the banquet. I wanted to go because food, but he wanted to blow it off, and I thought, okay, well, it's your weekend, so whatever you want, honey.
Well, they made a big deal of it. It was pretty cool though. So. They were like, they announced like everything in kilos and shit like that. So I didn't even know they were talking about me. They were talking about this person that did this and this on Friday. And, we weren't prepared to give anybody a paycheck, for that day or offer a best lifter award. But I got all that. So I was like, oh shit. And that was like my biggest total, 21:33. So
Lauren, what's it like watching him lift?
Well, it's really exciting. It does make me nervous though. I'm always hoping that he's going to, achieve his lift, but mostly I hope that he's safe, doesn't get hurt. I see him training. I see he pulls these numbers in the gym. I know what he's capable of. I know he's got the right mindset and the heart. So I just hope for the best every time.
Does it make you hot?
It is. It is hot. Part of what's attractive about him is that he's so strong, and he's just, and look at him.
It's a hunk of man, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So I would have it no other way.
804 squat, over 500 in the bench.
501, yeah.
501 and a 843 deadlift?
843 is the current best one, yeah. That's the one I just did at the
What are your numbers? What do you got?
My best, I've done one full powerlifting meet.
I saw you throwing around some weight yesterday. You were deadlifting like a maniac. You were doing, I think, 3 plates on a deadlift for some reps and stuff. You got a lot of volume in. I saw you doing 275 a bunch. And
Thanks.
She downplays herself a lot more than she
Well,
should.
after going to the U.S. Open and seeing those women, I'm like, whoa, I got work to do. But then again, I haven't been training for powerlifting, so I think if I did,
you have a CrossFit background too, right?
Yeah, I'm a multi-sport athlete. Kind of like to fancy myself a jack of all trades. But let's see, so I did that same meet that he had done, the RPS Holly Jolly Bash at the Lilybridge gym, and I squatted 330, I benched 220, and I deadlifted 380.
Damn. Have you ever benched 2 plates in training?
Yes.
Yep. She did 225.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I thought that was awesome. I was about to lose my mind when I saw that.
Yeah, that was at a regular gym.
Your idol benches about that much.
Yeah.
DLB.
Yeah. Seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, she benches about, I think she's done about 230, I think is the most I've seen her do.
She definitely has more in her for sure, because that 220 at that meet looked like way too damn easy. But like, I coached her for all of it and did like her programming for her, and like it seemed like the bench was just fluctuating so much that we really weren't sure kind of what she was going to be at. So we just hit like, first
Safe
and second
numbers.
attempts like safe, and then we were like, all right, let's push it a little. I didn't want to like have her get in her head when you see the 2 plates on the bar for 225, so we just did 220.
Is that dynamic workout okay in the gym, or do you guys like argue a little bit? Do you guys get pissed at each other?
I don't think we've argued. I mean, we've like gotten irritated, but not like at each other.
Well,
more
lifting's
like a
so finicky, right? Like if you're not having a great day, then you're just grumpy.
Yeah, it's not like I'm mad at you. It's like,
Yeah.
There was one time, we were just at a gym not too long ago while I was prepping for the U.S. Open. I was supposed to squat, and like, Josh Bryant's doing all my programming, and like I started squatting, just nothing felt right, and I literally just like racked the bar. I was like, fuck
pissed.
this. I just took all my shit off, and I'm like, I'm ready to fucking go.
And you did leave?
Yeah, I left. Yeah,
That's a hard decision
I let
to
her
make, but it's a
finish.
good one.
I let her finish her workout, but I was just like,
I wasn't in the mood, and I was like kind of like
have
crabby.
the balls to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's more courageous than just going through a dumb workout and hurting yourself.
Yeah, that's what I didn't want to do. Yeah.
So
as long as
suck.
as long as it doesn't get in your head, as long as you know, okay, I'm cutting myself a break this time because I know.
Right.
But as long as you're not like knowing all the time.
Yeah,
you do get depressed though. Like you don't want to eat. You don't want to talk to anybody.
I think it fucked the rest of our night up. Like I don't think we were really talking to each other or anything. We're not like mad at each other, but we're like, just kind of doing our own thing.
Yeah, give them space.
Yeah. I have a weird dynamic in here. If I get frustrated, then everybody else kind of knows I'm frustrated. I'm not frustrated at anybody other than myself.
Yeah.
It's 100% me every single time. Has nothing to do with anybody else. Sometimes just my shit ain't working the way I want it to, Yeah. I'm hurt or in pain or whatever the case is. And at the same time, I can't really just like bolt, because then it's like, well, then everybody's going to think I'm pissed. Like somebody's going to think I'm pissed at them if I just like leave. So then you're trying to figure out, how do I salvage this shitty workout day,
Yeah.
I'm going to go do some curls,
Yeah, something.
You're doing yourself with biceps.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you end up with Josh Bryant? It makes total sense to me, but how did that come about?
I met Josh Bryant through. So I was doing my own programming, and it took a stall on me. So mainly in the bench press, and I was just like, I can't figure out how to get this bench to go up anymore, So one of my friends, his name's Matt Clausen. He's out in Illinois too. He's a big bencher. He was working with Josh.
We know Matt.
Yeah, Matt's really strong dude too. And I had been working out with Matt back and forth, and then Matt's bench programming was being done by Josh Bryant, and I was like, okay, well, let me give Josh a call, so I sent him a message just letting him know what I was trying to do. And when me and Josh first started working together, it was just for my bench press, and that was leading up to Boss of Bosses. I had already competed at the Arnold's, and I was tired of benching like in the mid 400s. I was like, I need to get this 500-pound bench. That's what the goal was. And I worked with them like for only 6 weeks that we had leading up to Boss of Bosses, and it all paid off like big time. I benched the 501 there, so that was like major there. I celebrated big time with that. And then after that, he was just telling me like, great job. I totaled a huge total, and he's like, why don't you just work with me on everything? And I was like, all right, let's fucking do it. So ever since basically last August, I've been working full time. He's been doing all my shit for me, everything.
Most people can't survive.
Yeah, it's a lot of it is a lot of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and like some people were that have worked with him were like kind of deterred by that, or they didn't like it, But I worked at such a high volume, like high capacity all the time, and like I'm always really like intense all the time. I need like high intensity all the time, so. I didn't find the volume and all the work to be too much of a problem. Yeah. I was like trying to kill myself to finish some of it, but I was like, I'm going to do it.
So let's take a minute to talk about our sponsor, bodybuilding.com. Smokey, you've been on bodybuilding.com for a long time, right?
Long time. Probably since 2002, 2003, I started placing orders as a young kid.
So whose credit card did you steal to do that?
I can't divulge that information. I don't know what the statute of limitations are on that.
How old were you?
I must have been probably like 15, 16.
What were you looking for there?
I was looking for jack dudes.
Yeah, that's obvious.
That's always obvious.
You're still looking for that. Some things don't change.
I guess women, I don't know, don't really care to this day. Protein and pre-workout. I could not get enough protein and pre-workout.
I bet you couldn't. What about workout plans? What did you do back then?
Yeah, so I used to go on their website, find the good nutrition and fitness and workout plans, and it got better and better over the years.
Yeah, now it's top
Now
notch.
you can literally get whatever you want for free. Just if there's any piece of information you need, I go to bodybuilding.com and find it.
Awesome. So did you ever participate in the forums at all back in the day?
A little bit. My name was Granzella, man. I don't know if it's still up live there.
So everybody can go and search bodybuilding.com and find your old posts there.
Yeah, Granzella man was the little Smokey before little Smokey existed.
Little Smokey. Anyway, so you back then you were looking for supplements, you were looking for workout plans, you were looking for like community, like other people who had similar interests.
Yeah, this was before Instagram, so there's really nothing else you could do. It was just forums back in the day. That's just what it all was. Now bodybuilding.com has transferred into Instagram, into Twitter, into Facebook. So you got the same camaraderie as you would on their forum. So it's just a great blend of everything out there.
And on Instagram, they are bodybuilding.com, right?
Correct. Bodybuilding.com. Can't have a dot in there.
There you go.
Don't know why.
All right, so check out bodybuilding.com for your supplement needs, for your fitness needs, and for your fitness community needs.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Yes, I want to take a second and talk about our sponsor, Movement Watches. If you go to mbmt.com/powercast, you get 15% off today for your entire order, plus free shipping and free returns. I've been getting a lot of compliments on mine. I don't know about you.
Yeah, all the time. It's an awesome watch. I love it.
I was at a wedding a couple weeks ago. Some of my wife's colleagues. It was a doctor marrying a nurse, and the whole place was just lousy with medical professionals. And people with more expensive watches actually complimented me on my watch. So I felt pretty good about that. This watch has a very clean design. We talked about that before, but it's comfortable. It's just I just got used to wearing a watch again because I like it so much.
Yeah, why not fancy yourself up a little bit, look a little nicer, look a little sharper. It's convenient at an inexpensive cost, plus 15% off and the free shipping. It's a no-brainer to me.
Exactly. So get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to mbmt.com/powercast. Join the movement. You always been driven like that, and like sports when you were a kid? Were you just constantly wanting more? Or
I would say that kind of sparked in me, like more like in my teenage years, like 18, 19 years old. Like I was going through some tough times in my life, and I was like, all right, basically stop being a pussy. You know what I mean? Just fucking just do something about everything, So after like I was an overweight kid too, so I started like losing weight, a lot of weight. People started noticing changes. I was just addicted to it. Then I was just a maniac after that. I was like, all right, I'm never stopping this shit. So
pooping your pants, and then you were fat.
Yeah. No, I was fat and pooping my pants.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh. Fat? How fat are we talking?
Let's see. Well, when I was a freshman in high school, I weighed like 190 or so, but I crossed over that 200-pound barrier, going into my sophomore year. Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's a man boobage going on, but couldn't control that,
Some titties going on.
Yeah.
I didn't even have any in high school.
Were you?
I had them for you. Yeah.
Were you fat enough to get like made fun of?
Yeah, I got picked on and stuff, but I always had a good personality, like to brush it off. You know what I mean? But it would get to me sometimes, even though I would never let anybody see that. You know what I mean? But I'm always good. I'm pretty good at not letting anybody see me like sweat or be bothered.
You could have ended up being Fat Steve.
I know. Maybe I could have worked for you that place that day.
Could have all worked out.
Yeah, but I gained 100 pounds in a year from my sophomore year to junior year, and it was crazy because my mom thought something was wrong because I was eating the same thing they did.
Yeah,
and the rest of my family
weren't
was really
fat.
skinny, So I was like, my mom didn't know what to do. She took me to the doctor. She thought maybe I had some kind of medical condition.
My son's super fat. What do you do with him?
Send him to fat camp. Yeah. So the doctor was like, he's fine. He's just growing. I was just going through these crazy growth spurts. So what she did right away was take me I was 300 pounds, and I didn't quite grow in height yet. So I was short.
300 pounds in high school still.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was only
that is pretty fat.
I was only like 5'9", I think, at the time too.
That's yeah.
So I was shorter and fat. So my mom took it upon herself to like one day, she's like, surprise, they signed you up for football. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I didn't know shit about football at that time. So she signed me up for football.
They're gonna make me run.
Yeah, basically, you know, I used to be outside all day long riding my bike with my friends.
He wasn't like
and
a
stuff.
lazy kid, like couch potato video game.
I was never
kid.
sitting at home. Like, I had a lot of friends. I never was playing video games or anything like that. You know, I was never in the house, always running around, and for some reason, I just carried a ton of weight.
Interesting. So, I mean, you were not eating all the time. You weren't sticking your head in the fridge and never pulling it out.
No, sometimes that definitely, yeah. Maybe a few little Debbie snacks here and
Ice
there.
cream in there.
Some cosmic brownies.
But maybe
or
not
something.
anything too far out of range of what a lot of normal kids do.
Yeah.
No, you know, I think the biggest thing was my family drank a lot of pop. You know, so I drink a lot of soda as well, like with them, and I think that had a big like impact on me. My other siblings, their metabolism must have just been way faster than mine. You know, so my mom signed me up for football, and I fucking hated it. Like, I didn't want to play football.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of boy were you?
I know, you know, so I wasn't like aggressive really, you know what I mean, enough for the sport. So I stopped doing that, and I was just, you know, woe is me, I'm fat, you know, and you know, basically after high school, I graduated. I was probably about 330 pounds as a senior. I grew a little taller. I wasn't quite 6 feet yet, and I was working at a tire shop with one of my buddies, and you know, he just like always pressing me to come lift with him at a commercial gym by us. So I was like, always like, yeah, okay, I'll come one day. I just never did. And so finally I was like, you know, I'm sick of this. I want a girlfriend, goddammit, you know. So I was like, I'm going to go to the gym with them. So I went.
Rocky montage.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's probably what it would look like. But I didn't know what I was doing. He kind of guided me through some things, but I would watch other guys in the gym, other dudes that were like jacked, you know, fucking huge, and just copy shit that they were doing. And I would just, like, sometimes I'd be in the gym for like 3 hours just going crazy. And then once the results started coming, I was like, oh man, like, then of course, like, girls that I knew, like, and stuff like that, I started dating it more at that time and stuff like that. So I was like addicted to the results after that.
Addicted to pussy.
Definitely.
Can I get an amen? And a hey now.
Absolutely.
All in one. Sorry, Jesus. Didn't mean you to hear that. I think there's a lot of people that are in that boat.
Yeah. But it worked though. So I got the girls that I wanted, and now I'm not fat anymore, right?
What do you mean girls?
Yeah, no.
What's the S for?
We never gave the list, the rundown with each other.
I know your list. It's not impressive.
There's like 3 or 4
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Are there people that haven't seen you in a long time? Like maybe people that haven't seen you like since high school? They're like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. There's people
Like, what?
There's
I'm
people
Steve
I
So-
remember. Yeah, and I
Steve
would tell
Johnson.
them.
They're like, oh, what?
Well, the beard
Like, huh?
makes it like, obviously I didn't have a beard in high school, you know, so they'll see, maybe, you know, I'll see some friends if I go to the area that I lived in and work out at one of those gyms, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? And they're just fucking like, fuck is this guy? You know, like I'm massive now. You know, I mean, I'm still big, but like in a different shape, and I got facial hair, a mohawk. I look crazy already.
Probably just tell them to sit down. I know you're starstruck.
Yeah.
I know I'm handsome.
Yeah.
I'll get you some. I'll get
Take
you a
out
glass
my
of,
metallic Sharpie to sign
Yeah, I
something
know.
for you.
I'll get you an autograph.
Yeah.
I'll get you a glass of water. You just take a deep breath. I know I'm good looking. But.
Well, once I like, you know, tell them like, oh, this is me, they're just like, they're like mind blown by it. You know what I mean? Like the transformation I made from high school to my adult years, you know what I mean? It's been massive all the way around.
How old are you?
32.
Okay.
So.
Has that helped in other areas of your life? Being able to make those changes in the gym?
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of confidence with certain things. You know, definitely a confidence booster. You know, like things that I was self-conscious about, stuff that stuff all went down. But I know I just developed this characteristic. You know, like just be a maniac. You know what I mean? Just go at everything 100%, like full force. So that's,
and you get deeper into it with every workout that you do, pretty much, right? Because you build more confidence, and you're getting results off of what you're doing,
right?
And then so it just keeps the success is building success.
Yeah, I honestly don't know when I'm going to stop. So I mean, I'm
never.
Like, yeah, that's the plan. Is never. You know,
900-pound deadlift.
That's it. I'm not stopping there if I get that though. I want that. I want
Drop
that
the mic.
900 pound. Yeah.
Yeah, by the time you get there, there'll be about another 15 other people there, maybe, right? Like,
yeah,
things
like
are going pretty crazy.
It's not going to be as cool anymore, you know.
Like, you got to find something else to do.
Yeah.
That's funny how many more there are now than there were just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's
And
pissing
there's
me off, man.
People that are under the age of 30 that are. I mean, Kaylor Woolham is 22, and
He's a
then Yuri Belkin is 26.
Yeah, it's not fair. Bastards.
And then you have Kirill Serkev. He's like 29 or something. I mean,
He is
28.
Holy shit, I thought he was much older.
He looks like he's 100. Yeah, he's so big.
And
You can't tell with that guy.
Ed Cohn's immortal record is no longer immortal.
Yeah.
It got beat. So you saw Yuri Belkin compete. I mean, and he ended up winning best overall lifter
Yeah,
at
he
that
won that,
contest,
yeah.
and you got to see Kevin Oak and Larry Wheels.
Yeah,
and
all those guys in
What
the
are
same
some
row.
you're learning from kind of seeing some of these top? And that must help a lot. You're rubbing elbows with some of the best.
Don't get injured, I think, is maybe
Yeah,
the
don't
best.
get
The
hurt.
takeaway.
Yeah, that's like
a lot of them crash and burn because they're going so nuts. And trying to win, right?
I've been trying. I mean, I go nuts, but I feel like I know when to just all right, slow and steady.
Well, you
just
have a
keep
coach,
hitting those
too.
numbers. Yeah, and the coach, Josh, is really holding me
Helping
back
with the
on a lot of
numbers,
stuff.
right?
Yeah, because
And helping you in the gym, I'd imagine too. Right?
yeah, I was at the LA Fit Expo. He kind of just let me just go for it, and. I mean, to me, I crash and burn there. Some people are like, "Oh, you still had a good total," but I was like,
And
but
the
I
You made
deadlift
like
PR.
4 or 5 lifts or something, right?
I made
missed a few.
I went 4 for 9. I totaled 2066 there, but I was like
Missing
not
lifts
happy.
sucks.
It does,
just
yeah.
sucks.
Especially
It
ones
sucks.
that you can hit.
Yeah.
The only thing I did like that brought my attitude back up that day was I PR'd my deadlift there, so that was it. But
Good way to finish. Otherwise,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
so great.
plus I think I was the last lifter, so like the crowd was more hyped,
Right.
and she's out there like trying to get everybody all crazy and stuff, and so that's always fun. I like doing that, But missing lifts, yeah, definitely. And the coach, he's definitely like tuned me like back a little bit especially when it came to this meet because there was so much more money involved, and even talking to him and Ed Cohn, they were just like. These are what people are going to do. They're going to get injured or they're going to make stupid attempts and they're going to fuck up. And that's exactly what happened. And then next thing I knew, I was like, boom, like right in the running for finishing first in my class, So that was pretty cool. So
Yeah, a lot of times what I've seen at some of those big contests is if some people would just make small jumps and make some lifts,
Right.
they would end up further ahead, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to you a couple
Yeah.
different times now.
I missed 2 lifts there, but one was like the squat was on like a technicality, so I didn't hit depth all the way on my second attempt, but I took the same weight on my third attempt and hit it. And then I missed my last deadlift attempt, was 854. I missed it like around my knees, like locking out. So
Aside from bodybuilding, what else do you do? Takes up a lot of your day, I bet.
yeah, it does.
You're like, what the fuck else is there?
she does
yeah,
me.
it's like your child. I mean, not to downplay people who have kids. I know that's a lot of work and dedication, but it's a big part of my life, training and all that. I haven't done CrossFit it's been like 6 months now, but I was training at a gym just 3 days a week to maintain like my athleticism, and it was just fun for me.
Cool.
And I think, or I should say, I credit CrossFit to some of like my strength gains and like even some of like my muscle gains.
Yeah, what about how lean you are? Do you think CrossFit played into that?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Like anaerobic capacity is, somewhat similar to what sprinters do sometimes in some of the events that they do. And then
and
sprinters
look how they're
are
built.
fucking shredded. Yeah.
Absolutely. So as much as people like, want to hate on it, and a lot of bodybuilders do, or they think, you're gonna burn your muscle off. I'm like, have you seen the top CrossFit athletes, the men and women? Do you see how unbelievably jacked they are and shredded and strong? Like, it's the trifecta.
And not to downplay bodybuilding, but it looks like a lot of the girls in CrossFit could go into bodybuilding and do really well.
oh my God,
definitely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All they need to do is tan. That's
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All Colleen Foch needs to do is tan.
Yeah.
Oh, what a loser.
She's yoked.
So, yeah, CrossFit, I credit it for, a lot of those things. And it's just fun.
Did you compete in CrossFit pretty heavily? Like, did you, try
No.
to do the open and things like that?
I did the
or-
open, I would do the open. But I never
Do pretty well in your area and stuff like that, or
You hold your
see.
own pretty good.
placing like around like 250th in my region out of like 10,000 women.
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
cool.
like top 5%.
Yeah.
I mean, they only take the top like 0.001%.
Right.
But again, for someone who only does it 3 days a week and not 5 days as like their main training, I was like,
yeah,
oh,
or
not too
8,
bad.
9, 10. Like
Yeah.
they do it a couple times a day, right?
Yeah.
Train people, coach
Yeah.
people.
Oh, yeah. I worked at that commercial gym for a couple years where they mostly feed you clients or people like would see me and be like, I want to train with that girl. Be surprised how often that worked.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, you know, I had some clients
Train
who
might not have been the word.
yeah, I had some clients who, and they were girls, well, some guys who just saw how I looked and also would kind of watch me interact with my clients and see how I trained them, but also
They just
like
wanted to smell you up close.
not everyone thinks like that, Steve.
They do. Yeah. Heterosexual men, they do.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't think of myself like that. I don't look at myself like that. When I'm in the gym,
I see a hot girl walk by every time, like, and then if I'm on a lot of tests, I just follow them right to wherever they're going, and my nose is attached to their butt, pretty much. Unfortunately, that's what happens.
It happens. It happens.
Like it's like an actual dog.
Like a dog. I'm sorry, I thought you were somebody else.
You
you're
smell like
purebred. All that blue blood. Oh God. I don't work there any longer, but the gym that Steve trains clients out of, that he like sort of owns. I don't know what we're saying
I'm
with
investing
that yet.
in it. I'm
Investing in
an
it.
investor in it,
I train people out of that gym, and we have carte blanche. I can charge people what I want, and I can keep like all of it.
Wow.
So there's more opportunities to
makes a difference, doesn't
yeah,
it?
make
they
money
let
and
us
just
do a
the
lot of stuff,
freedom and autonomy.
because we do a lot of advertising for them, and a lot of the members coming in now are because we're there. So that helps out, and it helps out business wise for me. I invested some money in there, and we're buying newer equipment. We're doing I brought trying to bring the community together a little bit more in lifting. So we're having like a deadlift party that's coming up when we get back home. With
like an old-fashioned deadlift party.
Yeah, and there's going to be beer involved, and basically just come hang out and just hang out. That's all we want, and some people emailed me about it, and they're like, what's the weight classes like this? I'm like, it's not that serious, man. We're just having a good time.
People get real serious.
Yeah,
and when you put up, there's a competition. They want to know all the details. So
do I have to wear a singlet? This and that. I'm like, no, man, just whatever you want to.
Where do I weigh in? When do I weigh? It's like,
so where is the gym located?
The gym's in Chicago. It's on the northwest side.
The Chicago Barbell compound.
Yeah, Chicago Barbell compound. It's in Edison Park, or is it Park Ridge? It's like right on the border, it's Chicago
so it's Edison
though.
Park neighborhood.
Chicago Barbell compound. It's like an underground kind of hardcore gym. So it's not just a powerlifting gym, even though since I've been there and putting more money into it, we're getting more powerlifting involved because that's the main place I train at. Mm-hmm. But basically, we get a lot of bodybuilders. They come in town. A lot of photo shoots going in there because there's got cool graffiti and stuff on the wall, stuff like that. So we got Ed Cohn coming this weekend. We got Tom Finn going to be there. Chris Bridgeford, who I just competed against in the U.S. Open.
Kicked his ass?
Yeah, I kicked his ass by 6
pounds.
Bastard. Yeah.
There you go.
And then, they're just showcasing them as some of the top guest lifters and stuff like that. But one of my boys, C3 Muscle, he's from Chicago too. We hang out a lot. And
is he the guy that got into a fight at the show or whatever, right? Isn't he?
No, he would never get into a fight.
No.
He's a godly man. He's like a.
That name sounds familiar. For some reason.
No, he's you can't miss his eyebrows though. Once you see him, yeah, it's fucking
tattooed eyebrows. Or something?
I can't wait till he sees
really
this
thick.
and be talking about. Yeah, he
just like the rest of him.
Yeah, he's just a big. He's on Instagram as he has a respect the depth, and he's all about his squat depth. And he's a big dude, and he squats like an Olympic lifter, but man, he gets
deep.
fucked down there, for how big he is. His quads are the biggest freaking quads I've ever seen.
Down there that low.
It does, yeah. I don't like to
massive
try
calves too,
and his calves too. Yeah, he's just beastly legs.
So with men, it's cool, right, to get big and as strong as possible, and then sometimes with females, people are still resistant. I think people are still holding on to the past of maybe what they feel is feminine or what looks right to them. How do you feel about some of that? How do you feel, training and going after gaining muscle and gaining strength? Is it something that you were on board with right away? You're like, oh, this is fucking cool. I'm going to gain a bunch of muscle. I'm going to be jacked. 'Cause it's so different than what a lot of females think.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Well, I started lifting because I was an athlete. I wasn't trying to get big or gain muscle. I wasn't trying to attract boys. I wasn't even looking for a way to socialize with friends. I wanted to play sports, and I think that is something that's gender neutral, what kids
performance based.
Yeah, don't grow up playing softball or soccer, or do gymnastics or maybe are in dance. I feel like that's a normal thing, and in my family, it was very normal. I come from a family of athletic people, and I got hooked on lifting right away because I saw the changes in my body. I also, saw myself getting stronger, lifting more weights. I'd come home after school and tell my parents, like, today I squatted 100 pounds, and I was like this tiny
Were
little.
they pretty supportive? They were like, hey, that's great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool. They were
Especially,
very supportive people.
I was like the smallest and like the most sensitive of my siblings. So for them to see me take to something like that and to start, I guess, excelling or at least progressing, they're like, oh, we're all for it, Although, my parents would support us in anything we did. We all played a musical instrument. We all took like honors classes in school. We all went to college. So they were always
So
backing.
just all a high-achieving family when it comes right down to it.
I think so.
I'd say so.
Yeah. From an outsider looking in, I would say so, yeah.
Thanks.
They're all freaking shredded and jacked and strong. So
Yeah.
it definitely runs in the family.
Yeah, so to all the trolls out there who want to say like, oh, well, I'm just on steroids and all this other shit, go look at my brother and my sisters and tell me that all of them are doing that
Well,
shit
they're just
too.
going to say, well, they're all on
Yeah,
steroids.
I guess all four of us
Parents put
are.
it in
Yeah,
the water.
yeah. I guess
Yeah.
it's I credit my genetics quite a bit. Even before I started lifting, I was still able to do pull-ups, like lots of push-ups, unlike so many other girls my age.
Yeah, a lot of girls struggle with their upper body strength.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But I was, even in those fitness tests in PE, there was an option for girls to do a flexed arm hang.
Right.
And boys had to do pull-ups. And I was like, no, I'm doing
Fuck
pull-ups.
that. Yeah.
And I was good at them. And I
I was
a
doing
really
the flex
fast
arm hand.
yeah, I was a really fast runner. So I had some of those, like the potential.
Yeah.
But it really just took me a long time to develop it. And this
So-
is a lifetime of training.
Right, exactly. But like in the context of your family, like that was already the norm for you. So you didn't have to. You weren't really looking at society's view of how girls should be.
No,
you knew
not
how
at
girls
all.
should be in your family.
Yeah.
And how and guys and just period. How you're just that athleticism and interest in fitness.
Yeah.
When you
so-
first started to gain muscle, was it a little bit weird? Like
That-
when you're like
that's a
you
great
started
question.
started at a
Chest
pretty
split.
young age, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like I'm sure you've always been probably lean, but
Yeah.
Getting the veins popping out and some of the like definition, like I just remember for myself even the first time I like felt abs, it actually felt kind of gross to me. I was like, this is weird. Like
I have bumps on my
yeah,
belly.
that doesn't feel
It's not
right.
the
Like, it
tumor.
feels weird. Yeah. So was there any resistance at all to like, oh shit, like maybe I'm getting carried away?
That I love that question because it's true, and I have a little story for that. So I was lifting, throughout high school and beyond, and it was about the age of 20 where I really started to take training, weight training more seriously. I had never trained like one muscle group at a time. I always did like full body workouts, and again, just even after high school, I still was an athlete. I did track and field and rugby in college, so I was just working out for performance. But at the age of 20, I started training more like seriously. And after a few months, I was working out and hitting incline dumbbell presses. And there's, the gym's, mirrors all around. I sit up, put my weights down, and I saw this split in my chest. And I was just, holy shit. I thought it was so ugly. I thought it was so awful because also I always had like no boobs, so now I have no boobs and this line down my chest.
Now you got jugs.
I'm like, you're right. I go, I thought it was ugly and weird, and it took a little while to get used to that. But other than that, I like it. I like it all.
Yeah, there's always going to be some sacrifices too along the way of pushing anything to an extreme. Like I still have pain in my left side from when I fractured my lung years ago. Doing a bench press, I have like a little bit of blurred vision on the left side from like those 1,000-pound squats. I mean, there's like things that happen that they just become part of it, right? Like, so you're like, oh shit, like I got crazy veins. You're not really thinking about it anymore, but somebody else sees it and they're like, holy fuck. And it's just,
that's
it's
definitely
it's a byproduct of pushing yourself really hard.
Absolutely. Again, like the way I look, this is what it looks like when a woman or anybody trains really, really hard for years and years and years and years. If my body didn't look like this after 13 years of training, then I wouldn't know what I was doing,
Right.
then I would be really fucking up. I would hope that after so long, such an investment, in sports and athletics, and I mean, shit, I even have a degree in exercise science. So, I mean, I really love this stuff, that, you'd hope that your body would respond in this way.
Do you feel that steroids are like part of it, like in terms of like bodybuilding, powerlifting, like just pushing things to an extreme?
Well,
What are some of your thoughts on that?
Not for myself, but I mean, I know it's rampant in
Right.
both bodybuilding and powerlifting.
Right.
It's part of it.
Just it's a choice for some, and
Yeah,
maybe not a
that's
choice
that's
for others.
it. It's a choice, and I'm looking at that poster right there
Yeah,
from
the bigger,
Bigger,
stronger,
Faster.
faster.
If it's still cheating if everyone's doing it, well, there's for bodybuilding and powerlifting, there are natural federations. If you really, really want to compete in a tested league or whatever, then go do it and leave the other ones alone.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time here on the podcast, where there's people achieving great things with and without.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
It's just a
definitely.
choice.
I have to say that Jen Thompson's video from the podcast that we did with her months ago now went up today. And of course, because she benches 235, everybody's got to say, it's like, you guys don't understand. She competes in the USAPL.
315 or something like that,
yeah. Well, she did 325 in exhibition.
Right.
So it's
Bench?
like
Yeah.
three raw.
Wow.
She looks like a soccer mom too.
Yes.
You never know.
311
I
in
know she
competition, full meet.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's all anybody can say. Now you can look at her and you don't have any thought that that's the case.
Yeah.
But she competes in tested
Yeah,
federations.
federation,
Right.
So what's the problem?
Like why do people always go there without any thought?
I think
is the
that
thing
their
that
I think that their
bugs
mind
me
has
the
a
most.
hard time like comprehending when you see someone as big as Steve or someone so you're wide, you got some good shoulders, and you're real lean.
Gymnastics.
I think a lot of times people are just automatically gonna go to that.
Yeah.
And what I would like people to understand is that there are people that are outside the normal box that we try to put everybody in.
Right.
And it's really hard you can't really tell if someone's taking them.
No.
You can't really just look at, like, a lot of people will say that, like, oh, I've been around forever, I can just tell when someone's on them. Oh, yeah, kind of not, because there's people doing some extraordinary things. I mean, Ray Williams squatting over 1,000 pounds,
Yeah,
walked
that's
out in a drug-tested federation. I don't know his business, but he chooses to get drug tested randomly all the time, and there's other guys that are doing similar things, and then there's guys like Jesse Norris, who's lean and strong.
Right.
He's deadlifting 585 for 10 reps, and he is chiseled. You're just like, I think that it's an easy out for everybody just to say,
yeah.
Or they like, what, they try to dismiss like your training, I feel
Right.
like too. That's a big thing. Like, even if you are taking them, they're just like, well, I didn't sit on the couch and take a bunch of steroids and deadlift. And
Pass
this.
out
Yeah.
and
And
woke up like this.
yeah. And, train for a year and all of a sudden, so that's not how it works. Even if your choice is to take steroids anyways, it's going to be a long process no matter what,
Right. I think you've talked about them before openly,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah, all the
and
time.
people seen bigger, stronger, faster. So who deadlifts more? We both do stuff.
Right.
You still deadlift a lot more. You still
Absolutely,
out-total
yeah.
me. It's not just about like taking a thing, right?
Yeah, a lot of
Like if
factors
it
go
was just
into it.
that, then we would both be kicking ass the same
Yeah,
way,
we'd
right?
be at the same. Yeah, we'd all be at this high level, And then
So it's different genetic makeup going
Yeah.
into it. There's
Different body mechanics.
There's different
And how hard
ways
are
of
you
training.
working?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. No,
Oh, yeah.
that's gonna be probably the biggest factor, because if you work hard enough for long enough, you can probably get to where you're going. But for sometimes, in some cases, it's not realistic for some. Just there's some genetic limitations, just because some people just start out a little bit in front of other people.
How come some
Right.
people are so much more smarter than others? I study just as hard.
Right.
I remember my sister had a boyfriend in high school who was just a genius, and she would complain that he wouldn't even try that hard, and he would ace everything, and he was so brilliant. And she, also intelligent, had to reread paragraphs over and over again. She'd have to redo math problems over and over again, and she's like, "Why is this so hard
is
for
there a
me?" She'd
difference?
still get good grades, but he's like, "Oh yeah, this and that." So he's just I don't know. He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
smarter.
Yeah.
There's certain things you can't really blame certain things on. So, like, when somebody's muscular and somebody does something extraordinary physically, you can kind of blame it on steroids. But if we took 100 people and we all made a painting of a tree, and for 90 of us it looked like shit, we can't blame it on steroids. We can't say those guys took enhancement to be able to do those photos. They're just better at, like, for just some reason. Sometimes people can look at a piano and figure it out. Sometimes people can look at math and figure it out. I've never been able to.
I think people have a hard time with that critical self-assessment, figuring out, like, what am I actually good at? What could I be good at if I put effort into it? How much effort am I going to put into anything I'm trying to get better at?
Well, anything you're good at takes a ton of effort. Right. That's just what it is, you know? So
as a couple, do you guys get some awkward looks here and there?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Crazy ass looks.
Got a mohawk and you're huge and you're jacked.
I know they're probably thinking, like, who's this guy out of, like, Mad Max that just walked into the fucking gym, you know? She doesn't notice it as much. Because I'm always looking at everybody all the time.
I choose not to notice it.
Yeah, she kind of puts her head down, or if she knows someone's like staring at her, like, you know, kind of just go off in the other direction. Where is I'll be looking around. It might look like I'm like, you know, what we call eye banging somebody all the time. But I might not be thinking any thoughts at all. I'm just staring. You know,
I know
just
that
looking,
look.
you know, just looking off at everything. You know, just observing everything. So, but yeah, definitely, especially now, I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's because I got bigger.
On interwebs, you guys get negative comments, positive comments, a good mix?
We get, I would say, more
Mostly
positive, than negative. The negative ones, I mean, we try to brush off every once in a while. I'll address them, you know what I mean? But, or I'll like to, what I did one time was I found two guys trolling us is, you know, just through research sitting in my bed, I found out where they lived.
Oh.
And it wasn't just one comment. He commented on like a bunch of our stuff.
Yeah, so I was like, and then another guy did, so I found out where he lived too. So I was like, posted their fucking MapQuest address where they live. And then like fans were like, oh, I'll go kick his ass and this, and I'm like, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden these guys blocked me, took their Instagrams down, and then Instagram ended up taking the post down, you know what I mean? But just fucking with them, you know, like, all right, well, you want to cheap shot me? Here you go. Here's where you live, motherfucker. You know?
It is one of the nasty things of the internet is there's no consequence.
Yeah.
To
And people can
anything you
hide
say.
behind a curtain and say whatever they want, you know? You know, if they said it, there's no way in hell, I don't think anybody would have the nuts to come up to me and say anything to my face like that. You
Or
know?
me.
Or her, yeah. And I'm sure that we've probably run into some of those people at the expos and stuff like that, and they
or
just
at the
probably look
gym.
at us from a distance, you know?
I see all those skinny little fuck boys at the gym we go to who, you know, are probably the kind of guys who are saying or thinking those things like about me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. They're probably saying it about me, too. Whatever.
What about when you go to like Christmas or you have family time together? Is the family like admiring? Like they're like, holy shit, because it's just.
I feel like they're used to us now. So
they're used to you guys. Yeah.
Maybe at first.
Yeah.
They always say like, yeah.
Like when
I
they
look
first met
good.
him and stuff, are they like, what the hell? Like they were probably maybe expecting that kind of thing, right?
I think so. He's like definitely the biggest, strongest guy, beardiest guy I've ever brought home.
Sexiest guy, too.
Smokey's got a pretty good beard over there.
It is, yeah.
Smokey, can you step in for just a second? We need to do a little beard comparison on
And
it.
check out
Winning.
like these guys being related here is really weird.
I just got like squintier eyes. That's it.
It's like
Look at that.
Look identical.
mini me.
It's just
Same build.
handsomeness times two.
Yeah.
Who's softer?
I know
She
we
gave
both
you
use
a
the same
little-
products.
You
I
see
think.
that little
Buffalo Beard
You see that little
Company?
chest rub at the end? Did you see
Yeah.
that? I saw that. The little chest. I saw that.
Chest rubbed them?
I saw it.
I did?
I saw
My
it.
hand.
I'm right here.
Yeah, you did a little hand. You did a little
Standing right
hand.
here.
A little hand drag at the end. I saw it. She was like beard, hand.
Well, she went high. I went low.
That's the way to do it. Oh, whoops! Did I just do that
Yeah.
to you?
Oops.
Sorry about that.
I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, at holidays and stuff, I mean, yeah, my family's used to it, but
Right.
no, they always ask, oh, what are you doing now? Or are you competing? When's the next show? And asking about Steve all the time, whether he's there or not.
Yeah, they're really concerned about it. I like that. My family like calls me every once in a while, you know. But her family's always like, "Oh, what are you doing? What's next?" Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
What
they're
about
very
like
interested.
just other women in general? Like you go to the grocery store or something, they see like are people kind of freaking out sometimes? They sometimes
stopped at
ask
the
you
coffee shop this
questions.
morning.
Like,
Yeah, sometimes I get approached, not often.
yeah.
But
I mean, it's really rare to see a guy that's jacked around town. I mean, just anywhere around here. It's rare
I
to
always
see
feel like I'm
somebody-
going to know who they are.
yeah.
It's not necessarily true, but
Yeah, it's pretty rare to see someone
big,
where
he
you're
must
like,
be
that
important
guy
or do
clearly fucking trains his ass off.
Right.
And then it's even more rare to see a female. So that's where all
agree.
these weird questions are coming from.
Yeah, no. I get approached here and there, but not too often. It's nice, especially getting comments from women, because I know they're probably not like, sexual in nature, like a guy
the guys,
saying,
they want a leg scissor.
Great glutes, I'm like, oh, cool, thanks.
Scissor in my head for
wow,
$500.
you look great. How much can I pay you to whoop my ass or something? Yeah.
Well, I realize my look is not something that most women would want. That's fine. Right. I'm not most women. But for those who do compliment me, I'll take time to say, well, thank you. I've been doing this for a very long time, or I'm training to become a pro.
That's when you sell them some steroids.
Yeah. Hey, look what I got for you.
You can look like me in 10 seconds.
Exactly. This is my 2-year transformation. No.
You should bite like a glass, chomp on some glass.
Put out a cigarette on my arm.
Yeah.
No, but, and then, I'll engage them a little bit to see what are your goals? Or they might say, I just started working out. Oh, that's great. Consistency is key, and things like that.
They're like, oh, great, I got to be consistent.
Great.
And you've been working out since you were 12.
How long did it take you to do that? Oh, shit, yeah.
All I know is now that I'm with you, I don't have to pay to get my ass kicked anymore, right?
You do still.
In the beginning, you had to pay?
Yeah. Hey, babe, bust this watermelon between your legs. That's pretty cool.
I don't know that I can do that.
Oh, you can do it. Oh, I know. I have faith in you. Okay. We're going to try it.
We will.
We're going to make a YouTube video.
Season is upon us.
Yeah, we're going to make a YouTube video of it.
I actually saw one of those the other day. It's they just pop up. It's amazing.
It'd be harder to squeeze some grapes, I think.
Yeah.
Busting grapes.
It'd be hard.
Busting grapes.
Where's the Forsaken Warrior name come from?
Forsaken Warrior, originally, that's like a 2-part thing. So it all came from me just feeling like when I turned to people and I didn't have that, guidance, or they would kind of brush me off, or support, especially when I was going through some things in my life, we talked about me being homeless and me being fat, stuff like that. I just kind of was that guy.
That'd be the title?
Well, I wasn't fat when I was homeless.
That wasn't at the same time, was it?
No. So, and then just kind of just me figuring it out on my own when I felt like everybody's back was to me, family, friends, stuff like that. And then the other part of it was I was starting a company. So I was working on my own powerlifting gear, actually, and specifically a belt that I was working with a designer. It was like an invention for a belt for a weight belt that I did. And never really happened. I was married before I met her, and got divorced, and with the money and stuff like that, I wasn't able to finish the projects that I was working on. But at the same time, that's when I was selling the slingshot gear and selling my stuff, and was going to release my stuff. At that time, I was working with designers and people doing CNCing and stuff like that, and just kind of put it all to the side and just worked on the divorce and my job and all that. And now hopefully, I want to get another stab at it and bring that stuff back up and talk to another designer and see if I can get what I was working on brought to life. So, and that's kind of Forsaken Warrior is supposed to be a company, not ever me. Yeah. So I was just Steve Johnson. I was just Steve Johnson, but once I
it's a good wrestling name.
Yeah. Or Foreskin Warrior, as they like to call me.
Yeah, I see a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw the comments on there. Foreskin. That doesn't bother me. I think it's funny. I was telling her we're about to get a dog, and I was like, maybe I'll start a dog page on Instagram, but I'll call it Foreskin Warrior.
I could have the sweetest person and talk about them on my Instagram. People always crush them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who it is. They say the craziest comments. I'm like, what is wrong with people that follow me? What is going on?
They say,
what's wrong with me, actually?
Some people call me that thinking that it bothers me, but I don't care. I always say it's that's my alter ego, or my foreskin knows who the boss is.
Your poor name.
Yeah, that's my poor name, Foreskin Warrior. I don't have foreskin, by the way. So I was
So you said you were homeless?
Yeah, so I went through a point in time. I worked at a commercial gym. I was doing MMA at the time, and I broke my foot in a fight. So pretty badly that I needed some surgery. So I had some pins and stuff in my right foot. I actually went to do a head kick on a guy, and he put his arm up like that, and my foot came around and hit the tip of his elbow.
Oh. Damn.
Yeah, so the bone came straight out of my foot and was bleeding everywhere.
Is that the foot that you previously fucked up? Didn't you fuck it up playing football or something? You meant?
No, I messed up my knee and I rolled some ankles and stuff like that, but never really on that foot. But that's the most that's basically what stopped my MMA career. And I went through some surgery, some rehab, but I was in a cast for like almost a year. Switching out my cast, I had a pin that was protruding from my foot at one point, and then they had to remove it. But during that time, I had a boss at the gym that I was working at where he would drive. I lived way out of the way of where I worked, and I couldn't drive my car because of my right foot, and I'm in a cast, so I can't hit the gas or brake.
Right.
And so he would pick me up, and that lasted for a little while, and then basically I ended up getting fired. So when I got fired, I was sitting at home, and actually more to that story is that when it was getting really tough, I had no money coming in. I couldn't afford my rent. And I always started walking on this cast, which they told me not to do because I had pins in there. They said to go fuck your shit up more.
Right.
But I had nowhere to get around. Nobody bringing me food, no family around, nothing. So I was like, all right, I'm going to walk on this cast. I would walk to like a nearby grocery store and I would start stealing shit. You know, I wore really tight jeans on the or the jeans would get really tight around the cast so that it would like seal it off at the bottom. And I would just stuff shit down my pants.
I do that with my farts. Seal them in.
I would stuff shit down my pants. I was doing that for a little while until I got caught, you know, by the security. But the security guy had been like scoping me out for a little while. So he just like brought me in the office. He's like, I'm not going to call the police on you and this and that. But he's like, I know you've been taking this. And, you know, he saw what I had. It was a bunch of those Carl Budding meats, you know, like the shitty, like packaged processed meat, you know. And he's like, just give it back. Just don't ever come back here again. And then, so when the cast came off and I was done with the rehab and stuff, I was able to start driving, but it was already too late to save like my lease in the apartment and all that. So I came home one day and the sheriff's department was there. I already knew I was getting evicted at some point, and they had all my shit outside. So, which it wasn't much, you know, but I had like a refrigerator, like a small freezer, because I had like food and stuff I would pack in there, my bed, you know, my clothes and stuff. So I just packed up the shit that I needed and threw it in my car, which I had a big ass Crown Victoria, thank God, and just drove to the only place I knew where to go was the gym parking lot.
The gym doesn't ask questions. The gym forgives.
I just parked my ass there. So for a while, I didn't work for like almost a month, and I would just go in the gym, in and out of the gym, working out, showering in there. I became friends with a staff member that worked there overnight, so he let me do my laundry in the gym. And then a restaurant across the street, I became friends with a waitress there who would give me free food at IHOP and let me sleep in the booths and stuff. And then I got hired at like a security place and as a bouncer. So I started doing those jobs back to back. But I would still be sleeping in my car in the gym parking lot, fucking wake up, go train. And then at one point when like winter was going on, you know, getting cold in your car. Sometimes
really fucking cold, right?
Sometimes I would like sleep and let the car run, you know, and just have the heat blowing, lock all the doors and shit. And, you know, when it was too cold, I would take my blanket and pillows, and the guy that I was friends with in there, he would, you know, block off a tanning room for me, and I would just make my bed in the tanning bed, you know, and fucking sleep in there and hear the weights, you know, banging and clanging all night, and then go to work, you know.
How long did this go on?
That went on for like a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my mom lived out of town. I had family that lived in the state, but they were pretty far away, and everything I did, because I had just started working again, was in the area so I didn't want to leave it, you know. And then I was like, you know, I kind of wasn't sad for myself, you know, because I was like, oh, I got everything here right now. The only embarrassing moments is when you met a girl. I'm like, oh, where do you live? You know, let's go back to your place. Like, all right,
we're sitting in it.
You got this sweet Crown Victoria, yeah. Drive her to a different parking lot or something. But I ended up, you know, outside of working at the security company and bouncing, applied for the sheriff's department at that time, got hired as a officer after a year process though, you know. So ended up, my mom moved back, ended up living with my mom for a little bit while I was going through the academy and all that stuff. And I was like earning real paychecks and stuff at that time. So I got my own place again. I was able to get a new car, you know. My car had taken a shit by that point. I was driving it everywhere, you know. I was driving my house everywhere, you know. And you know, basically from that, I worked at the sheriff's department for like 9 years, and then recently just resigned. So a lot of shit.
Very cool.
Take that in.
Yeah. Really, that's a good story. That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
And you have 2 children as well, right?
Yeah, I have 2 girls. Like I said, I was married before, so they're with an ex-wife, 4 and 2 years old. So 2 little girls that think I'm like the strongest.
Give them a shout out. What's their names?
Leah and Gabby. Leah's my oldest, and
tattoo.
Gabby's, I got a new tattoo with their
cool.
name on there. So, you know, all my shit's embroidered with their names on it, like my weight belts, all that stuff, everything I do, you know. And I actually took a real cool picture with them on Instagram, and it was with them. I told them that their names were on my weight belt, and they were like all psyched up, like, oh yeah, yeah. Cool. I was like, yeah, let me get them. So I have a red and a black one, so I got them both out, and I showed them, so they were like excited, because especially my oldest daughter, she knows how to spell her name, so she knows that's her name, you know. Oh, cool. So I wrapped the
identify Gabby's name as well.
Yeah. So I wrapped the name around them, or wrapped the belts around them, kind of like a bandolier, and took a picture. They're all smiling on there. It's a cool picture.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How has Lauren helped you? You know, because it seemed like those are some pretty rough times. I know you probably didn't meet her till a little bit afterwards, but how has she helped you to kind of refocus and just, I guess, try to keep doing what you're supposed to do and keep things positive?
When I met her, you know, I was going through a rough time. You know, that was during like the separation and stuff with my ex, and you know, she helped me out, just like kind of getting my head back together and try to focus on, you know, what like I wanted to do, what I thought the important things were. What my ex kind of saw as just like, you know, this is a waste of time, you know, but I always felt like I was better and that I was going to do good at something. And I always kind of felt like I was held back with her. When I met her, it was kind of like, fuck, go get them, you know, do everything. So I feel like I tried much harder. Yeah, the lifestyle helps.
Kind of like Adrian from the top of the stairs telling Rocky to win.
Yeah. You know, the lifestyle helps. Just our drive back and forth, we feed off each other. You know, and just, you know, I want to impress her, you know what I mean, all the time. Even if we've only been dating for almost 2 years now, but like I still want to impress her everything I do. I want to be the strongest, most beardiest motherfucker around for her, you know. So but yeah, she just pushes me to do everything and you know, is excited for it. So, and that was new to me at that time, so it motivated me even more.
Well, that's awesome, great. Guys. Where can people find you, Lauren?
On Instagram, I'm under the Original Fit Girl, so it's the _original_ and Fit Girl, all one word.
And that's it.
And it's, yeah, I mean, I'm on Facebook, but I use that for like family and friends. I don't add people
Any
I
other
don't know.
sites I don't know about? So.
You know about them.
And I'm Steve Johnson. I'm under Forsaken Warrior. It's at Forsaken Warrior.
And you're sponsored by 8Man.
I am sponsored by 8Man.
We have that in common.
Yeah.
How did that come about, just real quick?
Oh, that came about was they were training at Casey Mitchell was in town to train with Ed Cohn when they were filming Road to Full Power for him. Okay. And they were at Lance's gym, so I was going there to work out, and I just kind of ran into them. And we started talking, but then Casey was like, hey, you're that guy that fucking won Boss of Bosses last week, you know? That was around that time. So, and we started talking. And then Adam and Noah, you know, they were like, you know, they kind of perked up about it. We started talking about that. I ended up going to dinner with them that night. They invited me to come out. And then, you know, they asked if they could send me a care package. I was like, of course. And I was already buying their stuff, you know. And then next thing I knew, you know, he's like, hey, check your email. You know, we want to sponsor you. I was like, oh, shit. And that was right after they had sponsored Larry Wheels, too. So they needed, like, they only take, like, so many athletes. And so I was, like, that last one to fill that gap. So
Super Training, we call that being on your dick.
Yeah.
They're just on your dick.
That's cool.
You already shouted out your Instagram, right?
Yep.
All right. Multiply your hustle, multiply your muscle. May all your shit be tapered. I'm at Mark's Belly Bell on Instagram and Twitter. Catch y'all later.
Shout out to all of our sponsors: 8Man Apparel at 8manstrong.com, bodybuilding.com for all your supplement needs, Compex USA for cutting edge muscle stim machines. Get 28 additional % off with the code PowerCast. Increase your bench at howmuchyourbench.net. Power, the only strength magazine available in both digital and print at thepowermagazine.com. Movement watches. Go to mvmt.com/powercast for 15% off your entire order plus free shipping. I'm the Jim McD on all the social media. Follow the show on Instagram. We are at Mark Bell's PowerCast, and we're out.
Hey.